Okay, the day has finally come. I'm calling this day the last run of the 301. So as you can see, there's my Indy pace car. It's a genuine Indy pace car. Put a hood wrap on it just because I thought I'd try it out. So the black hood ain't black underneath. But it's a bittersweet day because today I've got to take the 301 for its last run, probably a long time. It's pretty cool out here this morning for where I am, Queensland, Australia. I'm gonna start it as soon as I find my keys. Grab my keys and gonna give it a kick just so anyone ever questions whether this motor ever runs. It runs fine. Turning it over, I've always got to turn it over a few times and then hit the pedal. I call it priming. All right, and then give it some stomps. It is cold at the moment, so here we go. There you go. She's cold. I told you. It'll start. There she goes. Choke doesn't work properly on this simply because I'm running the wrong carburetor. The correct carburetor sitting on a bench over there at the moment. So there's the 301 started. She's cold. Just going to warm it up, take the 301 for one last run, and then today is the day of deconstruction. We're going to pull out the 301 and start on the process of putting in the LS motor. For anyone out there who's going to start ragging me over this shit, look, to be honest, I don't want to get rid of the 301. It's just that it's done 36, 37 years. It's the original motor, numbers matching, it's still running. I prefer to pull it out, put it on a stand, and over the next few years rebuild it back to brand new. Parts aren't easy to come by. The cheapest alternative was to put in an LS right now because I have a friend who, let's say we're buying time with him. He wants to do one last cruise. So after being friends for almost 30 odd years, I figured I only got about 8 weeks to do this motor and do this road trip. The LS was the cheapest alternative in Australia that I would have. We have an abundance of 5.7 LSs in our Holdens. I managed to get a unlocked one, and it's all set up to run MAFLess and that. You'll see that once we do the install. So here we are today, last run in the 301. She's starting to get up to idle now. As you can see, turbo lights still work. She's a good old girl. I'll see if it's going to run idle. And I'll just show you some people. It's cold out here, but that is not smoke, that's just mist. That's just cold morning mist. It does not blow any smoke at all. I'll try and pop the hood. There's the 301. As you can see, it's all running. And it doesn't blow smoke, it runs reasonably good with the wrong carburetor. But it's just time for it to do a rebuild after 36 years. I just figure if something does go pop on it now, it's going to be a sad state of affairs because it is a numbers matching engine, gearbox, the whole lot. So there we go. Take it for a run, one last run with the 301, and I'll be back soon. All right. Well, here we are, taking the 301 for one last run. It's a beautiful, sunny, warm, oh, well, not warm yet, but it's sunny here in the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. So I got my beanie on because I got no hair. I'm follicularly challenged, but I thought I'd take this thing for an early run before the boys arrive and we start getting into the strip down process. It's a bittersweet moment for me, I have to say. Like, part of me is looking forward to this, and the other part of me is a bit sad because it's a 36-year era that you're suddenly bringing to an end. So I've got to keep reminding myself that there's two sides to this. One, it's completely reversible what I'm going to do to this. I'm not welding anything in. I am retaining the 301. It's running perfectly. Well, almost for its age, but it's tired, worn. It's a little bit rattly. But I'm going to rebuild it and it'll be fully redone. So when I want to put it back in, it'll bolt straight back in. The other pro to doing what I'm doing right now, obviously, is going to be the process of being able to turn around and have an LS motor in my vehicle, which makes running the car a lot more efficient, a lot more fuel economical. Sorry, I'm just watching those cops that pass me. Bad boys, what you gonna do? And it just means any parts I want, I can get for it. If the motor breaks, motors are replaceable. I use this as a daily driver because I just love this car. I mean, I love the 301 turbo. I think it's a great motor. Yes, it is. It doesn't produce horsepower. We all know that. It's as slow as a slug. You pull up to the lights, people want to race you, and you take off like Miss Daisy driving a Datsun 120Y. It's embarrassing, but it's still a 301, and it's an engineering, miracle what they did with what they had back then. But at least with the LS, I'm going to definitely produce a lot more horsepower and a lot more bolt-on stuff available for it. I will probably end up turboing it, the LS, I know, but I will keep this old workhorse in a garage on a engine stand, and I'll work on this, rebuild it back to brand new to keep the value on the car being numbers matching. So all in all, like I said, there's a bit of nostalgia to this whole day, having to end an era temporarily, I'll say, and move on to something new. But it's one of those things I guess you got to make a decision on. I know the motor wouldn't probably last too well if I took it to Melbourne. It wouldn't be great on the highway. It wouldn't be fuel economical, and it's an old motor and it's getting a bit rattly, so it's time for a rebuild. So anyway, that's pretty well that. I'm going to take it for this last run, grab a couple of supplies, head over, meet the boys, and you'll get to meet the team as well. And we'll get this day started with pulling out the 301. All right.